Hey everyone, Tony here. Welcome back to Space but Messier. In the last video, I touched on all the pros and cons of this new industry, this commercial spaceflight industry. In this video, we're going to look at where it all started. Now, the commercial space industry is booming, but how did we get here exactly? In this video, I'll pinpoint several key events that fueled this exploding industry. One of the first vital events that kickstarted this entire space race was the launch of the Xprize Foundation in 1996, which would present $10 million to the first team to successfully launch a reusable crewed spacecraft. While this goal wasn't met in the timeframe specified, it sparked the companies that would eventually carry the torch today. Then, the US government drafted the Commercial Space Act of 1998, which encouraged commercial partners to expand the industry. It provided access to the International Space Station for these companies and gave them the freedom to expand space capabilities into more private ventures. Because of this, in 2004, SpaceShipOne from Virgin Galactic, the first commercial crewed spaceship, reached space, opening the floodgates for attempts by many other billionaires, normal people. Then after this, President George W. Bush signed the Commercial Space Launch Amendments Act, or HR 5382, which would ultimately allow customers to ride on suborbital launch vehicles at their own risk. Now, this is actually a huge topic in space policy right now, but we'll get to that in a different video. It's pretty dangerous. Okay, so after many explosions and fails resulting in payload loss and other things, in 2008, SpaceX conducted the first successful launch of a liquid-fueled rocket in Falcon 1 to reach orbit. 4 years later, SpaceX also became the first private company to dock a spacecraft to the International Space Station with its Dragon capsule. Then, in 2015, President Barack Obama signed the US Commercial Space Launch Competitiveness Act, or the Space Act of 2015, which allowed American companies to own material resources extracted in outer space. Now, this is huge. Basically, you find a moon or a Mars rock, and it no longer belongs to your government. You can keep it. But not only moon rocks. This opens up possibilities for asteroid mining companies and so many things, even belters. Oh, well, hopefully a non-poverty, well, whatever. Okay, but lastly, the most recent notable accomplishment was the successful launch and return of humans to and from the International Space Station by SpaceX with their Falcon 9 rocket on May 30th, 2020. Now with Blue Origin and Virgin Galactic continuing to land successful missions, launching their CEOs into space on their own rockets this week, and SpaceX receiving the contract to build the next lunar lander for NASA, the expansion of the commercial space industry is only beginning. But what about the future though? Are we just gonna watch Bezos and Branson and Musk play cat and mouse for 3 decades? What's coming? Let's touch on just a few. Commercial spaceflight has promising applications not only for in-space activities, but also for economic impact here on Earth. Now, I call it the most boring part of space travel, economics, blah, 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 but hear me out. 5 of the main areas we will see commercial activities in space include tourism, scientific research, satellite servicing, telecommunications, and asteroid mining. Now, while SpaceX is the only commercial company to bring astronauts to the ISS and back, Blue Origin and Virgin Galactic are not far behind with their human-rated capsules and rockets. In addition to getting the astronauts to space, they will soon have a place to stay because there's this company called Axiom Space. It's developing a space station to build off of the ISS and to eventually serve as its own hotel and research station in orbit. Additionally, having commercial partners develop launch capabilities will also allow astronomers to more affordably and efficiently launch telescopes into orbit beyond the moon and other Lagrange points for more radio-silent observations. The radio waves from Earth and the light from the sun make for really harsh viewing conditions, so if you can get into a Lagrange point that's blocked from the sun and Earth, which is L2 behind the moon, then you're good to go. And when it comes to telecommunications, we've already seen the explosion of telecom satellite constellations in the last 5 years. There's Starlink, OneWeb, Project Kuiper, and so many more. China's building its own as well. Also, there's a recently funded company like Rogue Space Systems who's basically developing real-life R2D2s, or spacecraft that service other satellites in orbit. Now lastly, companies such as Planetary Resources and Deep Space Industries are currently developing technologies to mine asteroids and near-Earth objects for raw materials in the near future. Now, let's just break down what this means real quick. The first company to crack the code in reusable spacecraft for asteroid mining and can actually get it back here, they're gonna be so freaking rich. Okay, Okay, let's move on. Let's break down all the different companies, or some of the companies in these different areas that we've seen. So human rated launch capabilities, we've got SpaceX, Blue Origin, Virgin Galactic, and more coming. Tourism, we have Axiom Space, Space Perspective, that's going to be that huge balloon that floats up into space. For telecommunications, we have these constellations like Starlink and Project Kuiper, and Project Kuiper is owned by Amazon. For satellite servicing, we have Rogue Space Systems, which if you haven't looked it up, it's so cool. And that's what we've got coming up for us in this crazy emerging space industry. So if this sounds interesting to you and you maybe want to do this for your career, listen up. You cannot go wrong with an engineering degree. Specifically, a mechanical engineering degree is so broad, it'll get you on these projects in no time. You can also do things like business, space policy, astronomy, physics, mathematics, and things like that. But don't feel like your degree in college will pigeonhole you to something else. All right, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to see more videos like this, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.